expecting you, emailing you when I was waiting, testing. And then I go to the hospital, and I walk up, and there's 2 fire trucks there.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining us this evening. It's good to see everybody. Before we start our meeting, I'd like you to stand. We'll have the invocation by Ms. Trina Wilson from the Word of Life Church.
Lord, we just give you all the praise, honor, and glory today, Father God. We thank you for allowing us to meet in this place one more time, Father God. We ask, Lord God, for your blessing upon this place, God, your peace, Father God. Lord, we ask you, Father God, to touch the city councils and all the fire department and all the leaders in this town, Father God, that, Lord Jesus, that you would keep them protected, Father God. Watch over them and lead them, Lord Jesus. We ask, Father God, that you, Lord Jesus, bless this town and everybody in it, God. You put a hedge of protection around this town, Father God. We give you all the glory, all the honor and praise. God, give us wisdom, understanding, and knowledge in your word and your will and for this time and this place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We call this meeting to order for October 1st, 2025. And Chief, we have the pledge, please. Again, thank you for joining us. And now, Lucy, if we could have roll call.
Sanders.
Here.
Chavez.
Here.
Lewis. Here. Amabil.
Here. First item is consideration approval of the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as submitted to the council. Any questions or comments? Not hearing any. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carried. Now, the next item is consideration certification of votes of special municipal election that was held on August 26, 2025. This would be City Council Resolution number 6987. And with that, Lucy, you want to
Okay.
entertain this?
Good evening, Mayor Amabil and City Council members. Staff is presenting for your consideration a resolution to accept the certification of election results from the Merced County Registrar of Voters regarding the August 26, 2025 special municipal election for the District 1 vacant City Council seat. The Register of Voters officially certified the results of the election on September 17, 2025, with the following vote totals. Mitzi Perez had 263 votes. Veri Sanchez had 222 votes. Adoption of the resolution will formally accept the certified results of the canvass and complete the election process for filling the vacant District 1 seat.
Okay, so any questions or comments, what Lucy said? If not, then we'll need a motion to accept the certification results of the Merced County special election held in the city of Los Banos on August 26, 2025, as it pertains to the election of a council member for District Number 1, and this would be resolution number 6987.
Okay, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept the resolution as read by title.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second as stated. Any further questions or comments by the city council? Not hearing any. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And now we'll go to item 6, which is administration of the oath of office to our elected official. And Lucy will take care of that right up front here. Now it's official. You have your name tag, so everything's official now. I think we all want to congratulate you. Okay, let's see. So with that, we will need a new roll call. So Lucy, go back to you for a roll call.
Perez,
Here.
Sanders,
Here.
Chavez,
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Amabile.
Here. So we finally have a full council after a long time. So now we have a presentation for Employee of the Month. I'm worried. So April Vieira is our, look closer, I don't bite too hard. For September, you're our Employee of the Month. We are very proud of you. It's our employees that make the council look good, make the city run good, and work for all our citizens. And we're very honored that you are an employee of our city. And we're so happy to be able to recognize you as your crime analysis for the police department. And in recognition of your outstanding performance and dedicated service to the city of Los Banos, and for being named Employee of the Month for September 2025. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, now we go to our public forum. Members of the public may address the city council on any item of public interest within the jurisdiction of our city council, and this includes agenda and non-agenda items. No action will be taken on non-agenda items. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes for their presentation. And we welcome anyone that would like to speak to the city council. Please come forward at this time. Welcome. Oops.
City Council, Mayor, Community of Los Banos. My name is Khalid Sanchez, and I was the candidate that ran against Ms. Mitzi Perez for City Council District 1 in this past special election. Now that the District 1 election has ended and the voters have made their choice, I feel it's important to speak plainly about the conduct that occurred during the campaign. During the race, you, Mitzi Perez, printed and distributed door campaign materials along with your own campaign materials and allowed statements about me that were not only false but defamatory, like everyone could see. Clearly stating they were paid by you. Those words cause harm, not only to me personally, my family, and my business, but also to the integrity of this local election. Campaigns should be based on ideas, values, and leadership. When untrue accusations are allowed to stand uncorrected, they do more than sway an election. They mislead the public and weaken the trust that citizens place in those who ask for their votes. I never once posted, printed materials or spoke of you in a negative way or made false accusations about you. You had no problem allowing the untrue information about me be passed out door to door, or what a local online newspaper who funded a lot of money to your campaign continued to write and post untrue accusations about how I conducted my business. I accept the results of this election fairly. I'm a community leader and I know how to lose. But I cannot accept the notion that your win excuses the tactics by which it was won. I have no choice but to call this out and stand here in front of you. I can't let this be unsaid. Our low voter turnout already shows how hurt our community is, and I can't let this get any worse. For the sake of those who voted for you, I hope you will reflect on the stand you sent and the concerns for those who in future local elections. Our community, which I deeply care for, deserves the best leaders. As for me, I will continue to serve our community with honesty and commitment, whether in public office or as a private citizen. My dedication to truth, integrity, and respect for our city and the residents remains unchanged and stronger than ever. I share these thoughts not out of bitterness. I want to make this clear. I knew the possibility of losing was there, but out of genuine wish that our local politics can be better than this. That future election campaigns in Los Banos can focus on ideas and solutions rather than personal attacks. Ms. Missy Perez, do you have something to say? I hope you would take the earliest opportunity to respond. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Please come forward if you would like to speak to the council. Welcome.
Mayor, council members. I mean, from someone who is actively involved with the city, who does a lot of stuff around the city, within the city, I feel like are our leaders of our town witnessing or how do you say it? Actually going through all the stuff that we, I guess, suffer as citizens. For example, today, ultrasound with my wife was there. We had our twins a year and a half ago. We had to go out of town to Palo Alto because there's no incubator here in town. Nowhere nearby besides Merced. What if your children were born, needed an incubator, and they passed away because there was none nearby? Our hospital is set to what, 2030, and then what happens then? I'm not sure. Well, are we going to have a hospital? Is there anything coming soon? Are our leaders looking forward to, or actually telling us what's going to happen with that? Because I think about my future baby who's going to be born in December. It worries me. What if our baby needs an incubator? Dr. Giorgio is going to be here? What if she needs something? Not here. My businesses. I've done everything I could try to propel forward. Ever since I got here. With the compound, my business being shut down with court enforcement plenty of times. Had to move everything outside. I lived in my office for 3 years. 3 years I lived in my office, trying to make sure my equipment was there, nothing was being stolen, trying to pay the bills. To Ethan Conrad. To where pretty much the false accusations that were made on Mitzi, something like that similar could be said about me, where I owe him money because he was willing to, what's the word? Pretty much charge me for what I owed later on. And because I got to make the rent. No wonder sign up during COVID, during that time, being outside with all the fires going on, especially during that time. Anyway, I stepped in my office for 3 years trying to make it happen. Someone called code enforcement on me to run me out of my office to stop sleeping in there. I tried a trailer business, a dump trailer business. I remember I parked it outside of Home Depot with a red banner on it saying like, here, like I'll pick up your trash, literally picking up people's trash to try to make a buck out of it. I used my mom's social to get a dump trailer. I bought it under her social because my credit wasn't great. COVID messed it up. And I got called by the city. I can't be doing those services. Stop or else I'm going to get fined. Me just trying to pay the bills, damn, that struck a blow because I had a whole plan of it. I'm going to start helping people pick up their trash to make a buck. Luckily, I got into HVAC. I started doing that. I don't have a city business license to do HVAC, but I do it everywhere I can. I'll drive to Palo Alto, I'll drive to Fresno, I'll drive to Modesto to do what I can to make a buck to help pay for the bills. It's hard. It's definitely hard. I've been battling it out with whether the IRS, if I owe taxes, or whether with Ethan Conrad, if I owe him that money. I'm still trying to battle it out. It makes me scared in future elections if I even want to do something to change the city. Am I going to be smeared like Vidi was? I don't want that. I have faults. So of course I owe money. I do this and that. I'm trying to be a great husband, great dad, great provider. I'm trying to bring better to this city, this town. As some of you heard, there was no Pilates placed in town before. My wife and I had the idea last year of doing it. And then out of nowhere, two other businesses decided to open at the same time. We had no idea that was going to happen, but we did it because I thought it was a good idea. Anyways, what I'm trying to say, we need a lot of work. I feel like I'm experiencing a lot of things in this town that I would love to change. There's a lot of things I see that I've experienced myself. I don't have an education. I don't have a master's. I don't have a doctorate. But I damn well know, I feel like I know what this city can definitely use. Mitzi, I don't know if it was your intention to do that stuff, but that's not something that I would expect a leader to do. Me as a parent, I would never want to tell my kids to ever do that, to step on someone, to propel. Yeah, other than that, we need a hospital and an incubator. We need a 152 fixed. We need a bypass. We need something. I went to the meeting for the bypass. It's like being scratched out now, trying to see what we can do, trying to use developers to try to help pay for what the bypass is going to be built for or whatever. We need something, and I hope our city council or someone in the city council can champion the move, because I'm stubborn, and when I know I want something, I will try, like I mentioned, trying to make money. I will try my best to go forward. And I'm proud to say I have 2 gym locations. I have a Pilates location. I have my HVAC business. And there's more that I'm planning on coming to do. Thank you, council members.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Carlos Flores, District 1. I am here to speak about the election as well, and just a little bit more beyond the election. To me, I don't know what's going on in this city. I'm sure it's happening in a lot of cities, but to me, I believe there's a lot of influence of money in this city, right? And just like anywhere else, right? People who have the money want to be with the ones that rule, right? And the saddest thing about that is those monies, if they're donations, right, or whatever they are, right? I don't see the city council of Los Banos actually being, how can I say this? For the people, right? It's not for the 99%. We're just hearing this guy right here struggling, right? We've been asking, I'm sure Los Banos have been asking for jobs for how long? Like things to come in here so people can actually start making money and living instead of leaving here, right? So to me, not only that, I don't think if anybody runs for city council, if you're not part of the group, then you don't get in, right? And so the thing is, my problem with Mitzi is I never seen her around until the very end of the actual election. And I've actually reached out to her because I want to invite her to District 1 because I want to hear what she has in store for us. Not for you guys, not for the 1% on top, but what she's going to do for District 1, because we have a lot of issues in District 1. I already brought up the issues with Amabile at the park, right? We have roads, the parks suck, they don't have parking, they're small, some of them don't even have playgrounds for the kids to play at. I mean, there's a lot of issues, right? And the city is growing too quickly to not have the services, especially a hospital with an incubator, right? I know you guys are, quote unquote, in the works of doing these things, right? But the thing is that it's good to talk about it, but we want to see action as a city, right? So I just want to put that out there. Another thing I want to bring up is the weirdest thing possible. Not the weirdest, it's part of politics, right? People are coming up to me in the city telling me to be careful because of the things that I'm doing. Why would they tell me that? I know it's not the citizens creating that fear. I know it's not the 99% creating that fear, right? The only thing I can think of is whoever has the money. You follow the money, you'll find who's behind it, right? And so I just want to bring out that there because I'm going to tell you right now, we went out for her, I don't know how many neighborhoods and speaking for so many people, and we were out there in the public. Amabile had that thing at the park knowing that she had her outreach going on at Vineyard Park, right? So there was things happening that were lining up that didn't make sense, okay? So to me, I think the biggest thing about that, if I get harassed by the police, if I get harassed by anybody, you best believe I'll bring the ACLU, the NAACP, everybody out here to make sure that people know what's going on. Because we want to make sure that the city council doesn't work for the 1%, but works for the 99%. Everybody right here, plus everybody that's buying houses here. So that's the only thing I want to say. And Mitzi, I'm still going to hit you up. I want you to show up to District 1, and I want a plan. We want a plan. We want to hear everything you got going for us, okay? But at the same time, from what I understand too, I heard that the elections, even though you guys said whatever you guys said last time that the elections were fair, I'm not hearing that. And I know there's actions being taken for the election too, as well. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and city staff. My name's Dave Anderson, longtime resident of Los Banos, and actually a 30-plus year volunteer firefighter for the fire department. Very enjoyable and rewarding time that I've had there. That's one of the reasons I'm here before you tonight. I just want to thank you for helping us get launched off with our new recruitment program to attract additional volunteer firefighters. We have, we're looking for both line firefighters who actually get to put the wet stuff on the red stuff, also EMTs and support volunteers, people that can actually help us in the back end where people don't always see what we're doing. There's a lot of work back there in prevention and other duties that we do. Just for the public's information, applications are, and information about the positions are available on the city's recruitment page on the city's website. The other reason I'm down here is, as a number, I think almost everybody here in front of me knows, we're having a pancake breakfast at the firehouse on October 11th from 8 to 11. It's a great way to kick off a weekend and have breakfast with the community, see our equipment. We have a relative, or new to us, new ladder truck, and we also are in the process of putting together a new Type 6 fire engine. This is basically an off-road, designed for off-road. So come on down, take a look at some of our equipment, enjoy our open house. More information on this is available on social media, Facebook, for example. Tickets are available both in advance, or if you forget, come on down. We'll sell you a ticket the day of the pancake breakfast. If you need any further information on any of this, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. If not, have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rhonda Lowe, and I am proud to say that I've been a business owner in Los Banos since 1984, when I bought my first business, which is right outside the back door of City Hall, the Montgomery Ward's catalog store. If you're old enough to remember that, you are my age. But I have to say I'm still a strong supporter of the importance of having independent businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of communities like ours. They create jobs, they keep the money circulating locally, and they add unique characteristics to our community. I'm also excited to let you know that we're back providing in-person workshops here in Los Banos, and our next one is going to be called Starting Smart, the Basics of Starting a Business. It'll be October 18th from 10 to 11 in the morning, and it'll be held at the Los Banos Community Center. We're going to talk on three things that are really important for those that are thinking about starting a business. The first is testing the feasibility of your idea, making sure it's something that'll actually fly. Then we'll talk about creating a simple one-page business plan so you can gather your thoughts, you'll know what you know and know what you don't know. And then finally, what are those important next steps to start your business legitimately here in Los Banos? We're doing this in partnership with the City of Los Banos, which I find exciting, and the UC Merced Small Business Development Center, who offers free support for entrepreneurs, and I'm proud to be a business coach with them since 2017. There is no charge for this. This is our tax dollars at work for us. Thank you. And there is no charge, but we do ask for pre-registration because we do have limited seating and we want to make sure we have enough handouts. You can register at ucmercedsbdc.com, and we've handed out to all of you on the dais information in case there's people in your districts that would be interested in something like this as you're out talking to people. I really feel strongly that together we can build a stronger, more resilient economy for Los Banos. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else, please come forward. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, City staff, and more importantly, my fellow residents and taxpayers. A few comments tonight. There are a few projects that have been talked about, and we've had public meetings about the roundabout, the bypass, and the Pioneer project. These three projects have, well, at least one thing in common, and that is that it seems like the decisions have already been made without public input. The public was not allowed to participate in the decision-making process, and during these public community meetings, it was rolled out that this is what we're going to do, and it was sold to us that this is what we're going to do. Again, the roundabout, let's start with the roundabout. When Caltrans came and did the presentation here at the City Council and as well as at the Community Center, the examples that they used in their pictures were of roundabouts out in the country, in rural areas. Even the one in Gustine is sparse. There's no population. There's very little to no housing there. Yet the roundabout that's being proposed here on Mercy Springs is smack down in the middle of a densely populated residential area. Apples and oranges. And the examples that Caltrans presented, there's very little to no pedestrian traffic. There's absolutely no mothers or fathers pushing carriages with children. There are no disabled individuals trying to cross. Where here, we're going to have all of that, and yet we're going to have these heavily laden vehicles, overloaded sometimes because we see the tomatoes everywhere during tomato season, and we're going to have tomatoes all over the place. Again, we're not having an apples to apples comparison. And I want to thank Mrs. Lewis for bringing up and being the only council member to question this. And I want to remind every one of you council members that this is not a strong mayor form of council. Each and every one of you have the same authority, and you each have a responsibility to your constituents. You have a responsibility to your districts. You have a responsibility to make yourself available to them. It doesn't matter if you're too busy at work. This is your primary responsibility here because you have lives on the line. You have safety on the line. You have the future of Los Banos on the line. If you're too busy, then resign. Bottom line. And you have a conflict of interest with this bypass because you happen to be an employer of a trucking firm, you should disclose that as well. Transparency is key. The bypass. We're told that the bypass is, for lack of a term, untenable. It can't be done. What has changed? I don't see a lot of construction out there, a lot of new housing out there. The only thing that's changed is that no one has championed it here. I don't know of any one of you that has championed this project. For these projects to get done, they need to be championed by folks like you. You hold a lot of weight with our state representatives, our assemblymen and our senators. Have you reached out to them for this project? Because this Pioneer project is not going to cut it. It's primarily a 2-lane road, scheduled to be completed in 20 years. By that time, we're going to need a 6-lane road. We're not planning ahead. This is not a good comprehensive plan. It's not going to address congestion. It's not going to address the issue with first responders trying to get to a critical scene. Again, over $100 million for basically a 2-lane road. Inadequate now, and it's going to be severely inadequate in 20 years after $100 million. So again, initially, that project was proposed as a 4-lane road all the way through. Now we've reduced it, and we've got all these amenities in it, which again do not address the core reason for this project, and that is traffic mitigation. The bypass is for reducing or eliminating these heavily laden vehicles in the middle of our road, dividing our town basically. Why do we have so many traffic lights on 152? It's because of these heavily laden vehicles, making sure that they don't go faster than, so they could stop when they need to in case of emergency. So again, we're not addressing the core issues. We're spending a lot of money, and we don't have a comprehensive plan to address the issues. And as we continue to grow, we have hundreds and hundreds of homes being scheduled to be built. Again, we need to have vision. We need to have a plan. We need to articulate that plan, and we need to allow the citizens to be part of that decision-making process before you come to a conclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else, please come forward. You're welcome. Welcome.
Welcome. Okay. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Council, City Attorney, City Manager, and staff. My name is Blanche George, and I live in the downtown area. Today, even though I have a kitty on my t-shirt, I'm really representing the library today. And I wanted to go ahead and put my thoughts in order here. I was asked by the Friends of the Library. I am its vice president. But I was asked by my fellow friends that volunteer as community relations individuals with the library to go ahead and mention a few things. Okay. We have something very special that's going to be happening. The month of October is actually Friends of the Library Month, and it's nationwide. And who we are individuals that come together, and we work with our libraries to produce very well facilities with fundraising efforts and helping our communities. So we do have several events this coming month, and I'm still nervous. But we do have a couple events this coming month. On Tuesday, on the 21st, we have actually for you to be able to meet the friends, meet all of us that help the library. I know that several of you have met some of us. I know that some of you have visited the library and received your library card. But it's just a nice kickoff to a wonderful month. That Wednesday on the 22nd, we're going to be doing a book discussion. There's a young lady that is an American novelist. Her name is Sabita here, and we're going to be discussing her book. I've given you a list this coming Thursday. The Thursday, the 23rd, is going to be my favorite, and that's we're going to be planting seeds and exchanging seeds. And you were thinking, seeds in the library. Well, not only do we plant thoughts and ideas by having a library, right, an active library, but seed plants produce the foundation of the food that we eat. and the fibers that we use and the oxygen that we breathe. So we feel, the group of us that assist libraries feel that it's very important to pass seeds and to communicate in that one way and for children to learn. On the 24th, we have a bilingual family craft time where we'll be getting together from 11 to 1 p.m. And then on Saturday is going to be the fun day. And that's going to be a children's scavenger hunt. So there's going to be lots of laughters and joy. And I know that Joe understands that because he does the Easter egg hunt, and there's nothing better. That's one of the reasons actually why I live downtown, is one of my first homes was by a school on J Street. And Los Banos Elementary, the children would go out and play. And their laughter was my alarm clock. And there was no greater joy than that. That's a kind of, I appreciate each and every one of you, because you're spending a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of listening, you and your staffs. And I appreciate that as a resident. So the scavenger hunt is going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And for those of you that don't know, the library is located at 1312 7th Street within the Pacheco Park area. Back to Joe. Joe, we have been talking, and we're looking forward to your information about My Little Library and what you've been doing at the park. So that social media is going crazy. But in closing, I want to go ahead and mention that when Albert Einstein was asked and pressed, he said, the only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else, please come forward. Anyone? Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public forum, and I appreciate everybody that spoke. And now we will move on, to consideration approval of the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be voted on with one motion unless removed by a city council member. And with that, Lucy, if you could read off the consent agenda.
Items on the consent agenda are as follows. Warrant numbers 253744 through 253959 in the amount of $2,943,129.06. City Council Resolution number 6988, accepting the Pacheco Park Irrigation Project as complete and authorizing the filing of a notice of completion with the Merced County Recorder. City Council Resolution number 6989, authorizing the interim city manager to execute the Federal Aviation Administration Airport Improvement Program grant agreement and approving a budget amendment to increase appropriations in expenditure account 505-435-100-725 airport improvements by $78,111 and in revenue account 505-000-331-010 federal grant by $70,300 for the Los Banos Municipal Airport Project number 3-0601400112025. City Council Resolution number 6990, awarding the bid for the purchase of a new 2024 3/4-ton medium-duty utility truck and authorized to issue a purchase order in the amount of $72,500 to Sanis Ford. City Council Resolution number 6991, awarding the bid for the purchase of two new 2026 3/4-ton medium-duty utility truck and authorized to issue a purchase order in the amount of $145,000 to Sanis Ford. City Council Resolution number 6992, authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an agreement with Symbium for development and launch of an online solar permitting system as required by SB 379. City Council Resolution number 6993, approving closure of non-essential city offices on December 24th, 2025, December 26th, 2025, and January 2nd, 2026, and at 12 p.m. December 31st, 2025, due to the Christmas holiday season. And the items are to be approved as submitted.
Thank you, Lucy. Is there any council member would like to pull any items for further discussion? Would it be removed off the consent agenda? If we can have a motion for approval, then.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Seconded.
Okay, we have motion and second to approve the consent agenda as submitted. As stated, any further questions or comments? I do have a question. On the Pacheco Park, as that finishes up the irrigation completely now then? Okay, so it's all, go ahead, Joe.
Yes, the irrigation project there is complete. I did want to make a note that doesn't replace all irrigation on site. That was to connect to the water on 7th Street. There was previously a well on site on the school side, and when they did their field improvement, that's what initiated this project. We did put in a booster pump that's sized for the park as opposed to what was previously there that didn't have enough pressure, but the laterals that run through the park are still the original laterals, and that's because we didn't have the funding or the design to fully renovate that park at that time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other further questions or comments? Not hearing any. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, next item is item 11, consideration approval of City Council Resolution 6994, appointing a city attorney and approving and authorizing the execution of the Los Banos City Attorney Employment Agreement. And with this, Lucy, we'll go back to you.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. Tonight, staff is recommending approval of a resolution that would appoint Mary Lerner as the next city attorney for the City of Los Banos and authorize the execution of her employment agreement. The recruitment process began in May of 2025 when the city entered into a contract with Ralph Anderson and Associates to assist with the executive search. The process yielded several highly qualified candidates, and following careful evaluation, the council identified Mary Lerner as the top candidate for the position. Ms. Lerner is a seasoned public agency attorney with over 20 years of experience representing cities, counties, and special districts across California. She is currently a partner at a prominent municipal law firm advising local government clients on complex legal matters. Her areas of expertise include governance and public policy, land use, labor law and public safety, human resources and employment law, regulatory compliance and ethics, litigation, and legal risk management. She is also well known for training public officials on important legal topics such as the Brown Act, Public Records Act, and CEQA. Ms. Lerner earned her Juris Doctor from the Samuel King College of Law and holds a bachelor's degree in political science from California State University, Fresno. Go Dogs. She also has strong professional and personal roots in the Central Valley. If her appointment is approved, she would begin serving as city attorney on November 17, 2025. The proposed employment agreement includes a 5-year term with an option for a single 3-year extension by mutual agreement, an annual base salary of $280,000 or $23,334 per month, step increases of 3% annually, including during the optional extension period. She would also receive benefits consistent with other management employees, including but not limited to medical, dental, vision, and life insurance, CalPERS retirement and a retirement health savings plan, deferred compensation, sick leave and 3 weeks of vacation accrual, admin leave, education and bilingual incentive pay, a monthly car allowance of $550, and a cell phone allowance of $100. There is no fiscal impact beyond what has already been budgeted for the fiscal year. Funds are available in the 2025-26 budget to cover all costs associated with this agreement. The agreement has been reviewed and approved as to form by the current city attorney. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the resolution appointing Mary Lerner as city attorney and authorize the city manager to execute the employment agreement. And that's all I have, if I can answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for Lucy?
Well, Mayor, I'd be happy to make a motion to approve resolution number 6994 as read by title.
Second it.
Yeah, we have motion and second. Questions or comments? I do have some comments. So the city council, since we've been in place, city government, this is my second time around as mayor, city government has really changed over the last 20 years. And we all felt that it was really time, now that we get close to 50,000 people, it's time to hire a full-time employee as our city lawyer. Municipal government, Bill has done an excellent job for us. I was mayor the first time when we hired you, over 20, how many, 20? 23 years. Yeah. We can't thank Bill enough for all the work he's done. He's done a fabulous, fabulous job for the city, keeping us out of trouble and protecting us. But it was time. It was time. The government, municipal government has changed. Things are coming at us at so many different directions now. And Bill's a part-time government employee. You know, he has his full-time private business that he handles, and he's going to continue that. He's retiring from the city, but he's not retiring from his private business. And we felt it was time that we hired a full-time city lawyer. And then we went on the search, and the council, many closed sessions, meetings, and Mary came out on top by far. We're so excited that you're going to be working with us in a little over a month, and we look forward to working with you for many years to come and what you will bring to the table, your experience. We really do appreciate that. If I don't hear any more comments, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Well, welcome to Las Banos. Now, item 12 is consideration approval of City Council Resolution 6995, amending Division 4 salary schedule, employee classification relating to Section A, administration, city attorney, and we'll go back to Lucy with this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. As a follow-up to the previous item regarding the appointment of Mary Lerner as city attorney, staff is recommending approval of a resolution amending the city's salary schedule to incorporate the pay range for the city attorney position. With the council's approval, Ms. Lerner's employment agreement, the salary schedule must now be updated to reflect the agreed-upon monthly salary of $23,334 a month, as may be granted at the discretion of the City Council. There is no additional fiscal impact with this increase. Adequate funds are included in the current fiscal year budget. So we just recommend approval.
Yeah, it's just a number change, okay? With that, any questions from the council to Lucy? Then if we have a motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 6995 as read by title.
All right, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and second for resolution 6995 as stated. Any further questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carried. Okay, item 13, consideration approval ordinance number 1210, amending chapter 16 of title 3 of the Los Banos Municipal Code relating to contracting for public works projects, Uniform Public Construction Cost Accounting Act. This would be a first reading and introduction if the council sees fit to go forward with ordinance number 1210. And with that, we will go to our acting public works director, full-time Parks and Recreation Director, Joe Heim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Vaughn, did you want to lead or do you want me to report?
I'm fine if you want to do it. I can do it.
Okay. I'll let Mr. Vaughn because there's a little bit legality.
Hey, Bill.
So,
There you go.
so every few years, the legislature changes the rules for public projects and how we bid those out. And it's the Uniform Building Construction Cost Accounting Act. And this year that the legislature has changed a number of things in its dealing with that. And then the main changes regarding the amounts that we have to make to do informal and formal bids. So this is a very simple ordinance that updates our ordinance to meet the new law. And you can see from the ordinance that it increases the level of project, and it will affect whether we have informal or formal bidding. So it's increasing from 60,000 to 75,000 for informal bids, and from 200 to 225,000 for formal bids, and that's for public projects. So all we're doing is we're matching the new laws that was recently acted, actually in January of this year.
Anything else to add, Joe?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this? Okay, so we need a motion to waive the first reading and the introduction of ordinance 1210.
Mayor, I'll make the motion. I'd like to introduce ordinance number 12. I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry, yes. I'd like to introduce ordinance 1210 for the first reading.
The motion should be to waive the first reading, and the second part will be to introduce the ordinance.
Okay, I'd like to introduce the first reading of ordinance number 1210. Am I correct now?
Waive the first reading. Motion to waive the first
Okay.
reading.
I would like to make a motion to waive the first reading of ordinance number 1210 as read by title.
Second?
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second as stated. Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor, so we passed the
Okay.
first reading and now the introduction.
And I would like to introduce ordinance number 1210 as read by title.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to introduce ordinance number 1210. Any further questions or comments? It is an ordinance, so we will need a roll call vote, please. Lucy?
Perez? Sanders?
Yes.
Chavez?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Amabile?
Aye. Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 14, consideration approval of City Council Resolution 6996, awarding the construction contract for the wastewater treatment plant Pond 2 levee repair project to Archer Civil Construction LLC and approving a budget adjustment and budget amendment. With this, we'll go back to Joe Heim. Joe?
All right. Thank you and good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I'll be presenting on the proposed Pond 2 levee repair at the wastewater treatment plant. This is in severe disrepair and has gone more than 25 years without maintenance. Pond 2 is one of the most critical components of our wastewater treatment plant with a holding capacity of over 207 million gallons. The levee surrounding it has been largely neglected for more than 25 years and as a result is now severely deteriorated. If the levee were to fail, it would lead to catastrophic flooding into our recirculation channel, which would disrupt the controlled flow and proper distribution of wastewater throughout the treatment process. That disruption could put the city at risk of environmental violations and regulatory noncompliance. This project will restore and reinforce 7,686 feet of levee embankment, reconstruct slopes, and complete essential site improvements. These upgrades are necessary to protect the system reliability and maintain safe and compliant operations. You can kind of see an overview here. Pond 2 is located centrally, highlighted in the yellow area. It has been offline for over a year. We've been able to manage that due to two temporary conditions. First, the closure of Los Banos Dairymen's it previously contributed about 700,000 gallons per day to the treatment plant, which has not been occurring, as well as shorter than normal rainy season, which reduced hydraulic loading on the system. But neither of those conditions are forever, and keeping it offline puts a significant strain on the other ponds, which were not designed to permanently absorb that extra capacity. I recall a few years back when we did have a rainy year, capacity was a very big issue out at the treatment pond. Stantec prepared the design plans and bid docs for this project as our engineer. We went out to bid on August 28th and received 5 competitive bids. Archer Civil Construction LLC submitted the lowest responsive and responsible bid. Getting into the fiscal impact, that's really, it's a little bit complicated here. We initially appropriated $400,000 in the fiscal year 26 budget, our current budget year. However, once the full scope and risks were assessed, it's clear that more funding was needed. We did have an engineer's estimate before going to bid, that would be after fiscal year 26 was adopted, of $800,000. However, the base bid for this project came in at just over $1 million, with engineering, inspections, and other contingency expenses. We're estimating a $1.34 million project out on site there. The fund that this is paid for from is the wastewater collections 502. You can see that in the line items there, the 502 account. That fund does have a $17.1 million reserve. I don't say that to say that we have a large excess of funding. There's other expenses that occur with our treatment plants, and we want to be able to consider growth in the future. That being said, there is a reserve available within that fund. This is a significant investment by the city. And there is concern of inaction, as I mentioned, emergency response costs, regulatory fines, or significant system disruptions. And what we're requesting is what you can see on the PowerPoint here, which is to decrease the line item 502 433 100 238 by $400,000 and increase 502 433 100 726 by $1.3 million, just over $1.3 million. And the reason why you see the decrease is because if you look at those last 3 digits of each of those line items, 238 and 726, the big difference there is that 7 and the 2. The 238, that represents a services and supplies line item. And so it originally should have been budgeted out of a capital line item. The 7, that's what 7 represents, is a CIP capital. And so we are adjusting down to make that correction, and then we're increasing the 726 line item to meet the full project cost. Getting into the project a little bit closer, sorry that's really blurry. You can kind of see little sections here, and each of those sections has a different cross-section of work that will be done, which I'll show you on the next slide. But again, you can see it's the full length of the pond here. When you look at the next slide here, you can see the first 2 sections are right here. This first one's on my left, and you can see the work there differs as you go. So a couple of these cross sections, it's not nearly as much of a rebuild on the bank. Those first 2 sections, I know interim city manager and myself, we drove it, and it was pretty rocky is what I would say. So it's definitely a deteriorated condition. Oops. And for these reasons, staff is recommending that the City Council approve the construction contract to Archer Civil Construction. So you'll see that their base bid amount is just over $1 million there. Again, the total project we're anticipating to be about $1.34 million, but their base bid is what we'll be approving tonight, as well as authorizing the city manager to execute that agreement and approving those budget adjustments and amendments to fully fund the project. So available for questions if you have any.
Okay, any questions for Joe?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Joe, for public sake and the council, could you explain the difference between the base bid and any other bid that's out there for this project?
Yeah, so what we get in our base bid is that's the bid that the contractor is saying that they can do this project for. And so what expenses are beyond the base bid would be things like contingency. We usually have a 10 to 15% contingency. In this case, we requested a 15% contingency. That's for unexpected costs. You know, in Parks and Rec, a lot of times you start digging and you find something that you didn't know was there, a gas line or something along those lines that causes that. There's a number of reasons why you may have a contingency use. Additionally, engineering expenses. So Stan Tech is our engineer on this project, so they'll provide consulting. So when we are immobilized with this project, there'll be times that the contractor is going to make submittals, and our engineer will review those submittals and make sure that they are accurate to our specifications. In addition, there may be questions that lead to use of the contingency via change order, different changes that may occur throughout the project, and the engineer is going to review that. And another expense that's regular is compaction testing and other testing related items. In this case, they're rebuilding that road, and so I'm sure that there will be compaction testing as related to that to ensure the reinforcement of that road. And so, yeah, that's where those extra expenses come in beyond the base bid from Archer.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, just more of a comment. Yeah, I think it's definitely needed. Ms. Lewis and I went and toured that, and we didn't even get over the road. It's just falling apart, and the levees just, you see the chunks are going in and stuff. So I think long overdue, so I'm glad that we're going to finally get it corrected.
Thank you. Okay. We have that motion then?
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 6996 as read by title.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second as stated for Resolution 6996. Any further questions or comments from the City Council? Not hearing any. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, we'll move on. Item 15 is Pioneer Road Complete Street Project Update. And we'll go back to Joe for this too.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So first, give a quick introduction. We do have Ed Noriega here in the crowd from Mark Thomas, so he'll be available for questions as well as myself. This presentation is on an update on the Pioneer Road Complete Streets project. Tonight's presentation will provide an overview of the project, share what we heard from the community during the September 9th workshop, and outline our next steps. The project is focused on improving capacity, safety, and connectivity along Pioneer Road, around the Pioneer Road corridor, extending approximately 6.5 miles from east of Highway 152 near Merced College to Highway 152 at Ward Road. The scope includes roadway upgrades and extensions, intersection improvements, drainage enhancements, and new pedestrian and bicycle facilities. These improvements will create a critical arterial connection on the south side of Los Banos. The overall goals are to reduce congestion, improve safety, and strengthen east-west mobility throughout the city. This corridor is designed to serve all users, motorists, trucks, pedestrians, and cyclists, while also supporting sustainability goals. As a reminder, the Pioneer Road Complete Streets project was approved by Council in January of 2021. Again, it's designed to provide a east-west connection across Los Banos. And these improvements include upgraded intersections, roadway extensions, drainage enhancements. The goal, again, is to reduce all those emissions and other sustainability goals, as well as provide a reliable alternative to State 152. It's also important to recognize the risks of doing nothing. By 2046, many intersections along SR 152 and Pioneer Road are projected to be at failing levels of service, creating additional congestion and delays. Truck volumes are anticipated to continue to climb, and that'll further compound bottlenecks. And without improvements, the bicycle and pedestrian network will also remain fragmented. And again, moving forward, will reduce those issues. So wanted to provide an update. In February of this year, City Council approved a $6.6 million contract for the first construction phase, which is located at Pioneer Road and Ortigalita Road. Work is underway. I'm sure many of you are aware of that. Ortigalita is open to the north and southbound traffic, and we anticipate by November 24th that a temporary four-way stop will be in place to manage traffic while signal equipment is being finalized. Once that arrives, we'll be installing the traffic signal itself, and that is scheduled for completion by March 10th of 2026. And this is the first real milestone for the Pioneer project. As we look into the future of the Pioneer Road project, we structure it in segments or phases, and those come in every 3 years through 2044. This pacing aligns with both funding cycles and environmental and technical work that has to happen along the way. The first phase at Pioneer Ortigalita, as I mentioned, is underway. That's kind of what I would maybe call zero. That's this green on the PowerPoint. The next two phases focus on the east side. First is the Pioneer and SR 165 intersection, which is this kind of a royal blue, I guess you'd say. And then followed by extending Pioneer along 165 connecting to Ward Road. That's this kind of medium blue color here, number 2. Ward Road to Highway 152 is phase 3. That's, I guess, cyan or turquoise, or I'm not sure which light blue you want to call that, giving us a complete east side connection. So again, you are really seeing 1, 2, 3 moving forward, these next phases. Together, these segments connect that east-west and strengthen regional connectivity. And again, as we move west, 4, 5, and 6, we'll focus on the central and western portions of the project until it's fully complete. So looking kind of zoomed in on those first 2 segments that we're looking at in 2029, 2032. Segments 1 and 2, again, they're critical because they really create that east-west connection that doesn't currently exist. Segment 1 also looks at that intersection that we certainly received a lot of public comment on current condition and concern for the future condition of that intersection in terms of, I'm sure everybody in the room has been on Pioneer, has backed up trying to get on to 165. Again, I want to emphasize that we're looking at these projects every 3 years, and that relates to environmental and funding cycles and trying to find ways to fund this project. And external funding is absolutely critical to every segment that we are trying to complete along this project. So this plan combines both 2-lane and 4-lane sections to match traffic needs along the corridor. It includes multiple intersection upgrades and new north-south connections to 152. The design improves circulation for vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists, and supports the city's bicycle pedestrian plan. And again, creates that parallel route to 152. On the screen here, you can see the red dots represent those intersections. And the blue is 2-lane sections, and that yellow there is your 4-lane section, and that goes through kind of what you see as existing residential. The proposed cross section, again, these come from the Complete Streets Plan approved in 2021. That provides an example of the improvements that the project will include, so you can see kind of the bicycle and pedestrian options there.
And that's a separated for the bicycles and pedestrians?
Yeah, you can see there's the
yeah.
green here, over here. Sorry. Again, here's a couple more conceptual designs, and you can see this Pioneer Road in east of Mercy Springs Road, as well as Pioneer Road near Black Hills Ave. Black Hills Ave is right there by the park for reference. All right, so we had a September 9th public meeting at the community center. We had about 30 attendees, including residents, property owners, as well as commuters. Discussion was very engaged, and several consistent themes came up. First, traffic circulation. Residents were especially concerned about left turn access, particularly near 11th Street and Black Hills Avenue. There's a school bus stop there. That was a major talking point. The medians and lane transitions were also a major topic. People questioned whether a 2-lane to 4 4-lane back to a 2-lane would create safety or congestion issues, whether left turn pockets could be incorporated, and how that would impact them being able to turn on to Pioneer. Neighborhood impacts, residents raised quite a bit of concerns about noise and vibration, property impacts, both during construction and also once constructed, curb and gutter improvements, how that could impact things, property taxes, how that might be impacted, and whether noise walls may be needed. Public safety and emergency access was also discussed. People asked how medians might affect response time, and whether law enforcement responsibility would fall on the city or county officers. Skip on here. And many of the questions were challenging. The overall sentiment was constructive. Residents understood that this was a long-term project and expressed strong interest in staying engaged. That was one item that really stood out to me, was just how much they wanted to be informed. Whenever we had a public meeting, we did send out mailers for this meeting, but that was something that we really encouraged our public works staff to make sure they carry forward, was making sure that the public is informed. This is obviously a project that currently is projected out 19 years, and so we want to make sure that we carry that, knowing that there'll be impact to residents throughout the project. I'll also say that this community meeting really provided an opportunity to provide an update and to take feedback in these questions. This is not a project that I will be continuing as the leader, right? And so it's a good opportunity to take this feedback. We're in a stage right now where we're in construction on a segment at Pioneer and Ortigalita, but we have not yet begun the next segment's design. And so it's a really good time to take public comment and feedback on their concerns to be able to incorporate those as we move into the next couple segments over the next 6 years or so. As we go into the next steps, again, of course, you'll see a lot of environmental and technical studies. A lot of that goes towards residents' concerns, things like noise, air quality, all that sort of stuff. Continuing to secure funding, that's a big stress. Really trying to find as many external funding sources as we possibly can for this project. Again, we were able to fund the Pioneer and Ortigalita project. We have some funding for the next segment, but it starts getting very expensive after that, so we want to make sure that we continue to pursue that. This is a project that will have a total cost over $100 million, and again, stretches out to 2044 in terms of our planned segments. And again, I'll just repeat that we'll be pursuing MCAG funding, state grants, federal programs, pretty much anywhere where we can get funding. And with that, I'll conclude the presentation. Again, I do have Ed Noriega from Mark Thomas. He's our engineer on the project available, as well as I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Hey, Joe, so with the feedback you got from the community at the September 9th meeting, what are you going to do with that feedback? What happens to it?
Yeah, so I have it all documented. I've also shared it with Mark Thomas, and a few of the items we really tried to highlight as best as we could. Again, I think the mailers and making sure that we're in contact with residents was really high on my list. Really looking at that impact on that section from 11th and Black Hills, the residential area. I think we got a lot of comments on that. And there's some questions that I think can be answered, like jurisdiction, city county jurisdiction from a public safety standpoint, current impacts. We had some conversations with some of the homeowners near Pioneer and Ortigalita. There was some conversation about the current condition of the road along Pioneer Road. On Pioneer Road from Ortigalita Road to the LB Creek, and the interim city manager jumped on that, and we're looking to add that to our current project and try to get the PCI over there as PCI 11. And he made the point, well, previously we had segments that were heading towards the west. Well, now that'll be the second to last segment, which is 15 years out. So leaving it at PCI 11, that's a very you can't just leave that for 15 years, right? We gotta do improvements to that road surfacing there, and so it's not like we're gonna pulverize and overlay, so it won't include your right of ways and your utilities and all that. But that's something that directly came out of that meeting that I think was really beneficial to that those residents over there, as well as ultimately out of the community, and making sure that project is good. But in terms of public record, I know there's a couple people in the crowd that I even received emails from after the fact. Continue to encourage people to do that. I share that with both our public works team and Mark Thomas to carry forward.
So just to let everybody know, we are listening to you. This isn't a set plan, and there were some really good ideas to come forward. And the city council, we are shown this and all this information. And these meetings are really for the residents to give their piece. It's not to have any one of us dictate what's going to happen. So we want to hear the residents, what they want, and if it's possible, we will do everything that's possible to get it done. And I also want to just make a comment too. I know we want a 6-lane from Volta Road all the way to Ward Road is what everybody wants, including myself. So some of those sections there that are between Ortigalita and the park there, that's considered to be 2-lane, you are designing them to be able to go 4-lane easily in the future?
Yes, I don't know if I had one.
Because I know it's a lot about funding.
Good evening.
Thanks for being here.
That is correct. The corridor is set up to accommodate a 4-lane facility from the west end all the way to the east end at Ward.
Perfect.
So but because of funding constraints and the actual needs based on traffic, as we project it out, we forecast it out, the segments that you see there on the screen are what's needed, the number of lanes for the duration of traffic at this time. Now, things may change in the future, but you have the ability to expand it to 4 lanes.
Perfect. So we have that planning. We don't have to go with right-of-way and all that stuff in the future. I appreciate that. Any other questions for him, Madam Council Hass?
Mayor, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to make a statement and thank you for clarifying, because these visuals that we have show 4 lanes, and that's what a council back in, was it 2000, I think it was, or 19? I can't remember exactly. We approved it to be 4 lanes. Then it was reduced to 2 lanes. And I still, to this day, don't understand why it was reduced to 2 lanes. But for clarification, for public sake, council did not make a decision not to go with a bypass. The bypass was funded by the state of California because it's part of state highway, and the state of California completely erased that out of their budget. So there was no more bypass for the city of Los Banos. We spent roughly about $10 million to do some surveys about where the bypass would go, but that's about where it ended. And by the time the city got through that, the money was absorbed by MCAG, and the state of California said no more. They put whatever funding they wanted to use into Highway 99's widening and improvement. So I hope that people who are concerned about whether or not council took it away, it wasn't. It's the state of California. It was a state highway. They decided what they're going to fund and not fund. We are somewhat behind in this because, and again, I'm going to say it publicly, with our previous council, we lost well over $1 million, may have been several $1 million in this project because there was no movement on it. I don't know why there wasn't any movement on it, but the money was gone, and that money had been sent back over to the east side of the county for use, and anything that we don't do over here for money that's allocated to us, they'll be happy, the Board of Supervisors, to take it and MCAG and put it over on the east side. So we are where we are now. I'm happy that we're moving forward. I certainly would hope that, that we could find additional funding other than Measure V, state funding, which is a wish because our state is in a deficit as it is. And to get this 4-lane moving is going to be crucial because right now we're on a 2-lane road. 2-lane road improvement is not going to make any difference in the traffic problems that we have on Pacheco Boulevard. And even in the evening now, if you're coming around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Pioneer's already backed up going east to Mercy Springs. So it's already in critical mode. And I'm just hoping that whatever the city department and our staff is looking at for improving this to make this a more viable road, to take it from the west side and bringing it out to Ward Road would really help our city regarding its traffic problems. But there were some mitigating circumstances that got in the way as to why we're not further along in this process than what we should be. But I'm going to keep hope that we're going to move this along and give our citizens that opportunity to have a decent roadway and to get off Pacheco Boulevard and to divert perhaps some of the large trucks off of Pacheco Boulevard and move them along from the west to the east and vice versa. So thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the visuals that you've given us. This was kind of what we saw several years ago that it was supposed to be, and I'm looking forward to this concept coming to pass. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Please state more. Thanks, Joe, for the presentation. So I want to start by just highlighting the project's stated goal, which is to create a parallel route for local trips and to do so in a way that maintains neighborhood compatibility. My concern is that the current design, it's 4-lane in some sections, 2 lanes in some. I think if we're going to do this, we should just try to do it 4 lanes the whole way in the beginning. Otherwise, I don't know how much it's going to mitigate traffic anyways. But a 4-lane arterial with sound walls, limited sidewalks, restricted access, it sounds like it conflicts with the goal of local trips and neighborhood compatibility. It looks more like an expressway to move cars from one end of town to the other. That might be what we need right now, but I just want to make sure that we're thinking about this in a way that we're creating a foundation for the corridor to evolve as the city expands to the south. There's a saying that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and for this corridor, we're in that 20 years ago moment right now. The decisions we make here determine whether 20 years from now future residents see thoughtful planning or just cookie cutter sprawl. I know the general plan has a mix of uses along here, but the general plan also still has the bypass corridor on the map. So, and we know that that's not happening. So it tells us 2 things, that the Pioneer Road project is a primary and essential strategy. And I know we're in the process of updating the general plan, so this is our opportunity to make sure that the future character of Pioneer Road is considered in the plan. So I'd like to consider having council direct staff to return at a future meeting with a report for scope, timeline, and cost for creating a Pioneer Community Corridor plan as a tool for making sure that we're building an asset for our residents and not just a smaller bypass for 152. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. So when you talked about you did traffic study on the 2-lane portion of it. So is that a recent traffic study, or that it's been years ago, or what?
About a year and a half ago.
About a year and a half?
One of the reasons actually for the delay of the project is because of the cost of the project. It's a big number. Mm-hmm. And the Cal EPA, when they looked at the project and there was no funding commitment yet defined for construction of the project, they said, well, you need to segment this project. You need to segment it and study it that matches that where the air quality is modeled appropriately and the years delivered, and which is the segmentation of the project that Joe had presented earlier. So it'll line up with what Cal EPA is presenting with bite-size projects to deliver over the course of time so that it matches air quality, that the air quality model that's, and also deliver projects continuously over every 3 years. And so that's why it's segmented.
3 years. Okay, so I think what Councilmember Sanders is saying, that we should look at this corridor more than just for cars, but look at the studying, maybe making it more of a, how did you say, a project?
Just a project, so it's because the city's going to expand eventually.
Right.
I mean, and having a corridor that sound walls all the way through and was built in a way that you can't expand it, that you can't make it an asset to community, just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I just want to make sure, maybe somebody's already thought about it. I looked at the general plan, and there are zoning for, I think there's some school stuff in there. There's a park along it. So it's been thought about, but that plan is also really old. So I just want to make sure that we're not just looking at this as, we really need a road that's built a road, and that we're looking at it as 20 years from now, it can evolve into something that is going to be in the middle of town probably.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, because it seems like all the building that for future looks to point south, since we can't go north, we're either going south, west. I'm not sure we're going east with wetlands, so yeah, I agree with what he's saying. Definitely. It's just unfortunate that we're sitting here stuck with this because no movement took place several years ago. And then due to our lack of movement, state takes the funding, and now we're left trying to figure out, solve the issue of traffic, through Los Banos. And at the same time, it's probably going to end up being, center of the city at some point. And we definitely don't want to be here in 20 years going, man, we're 20 years behind, now we got to fix this. So yeah, agreed.
So if I may add to that, the forecasting of traffic is based on your general plan as well as the county's general plan. And so we have guidelines on how to forecast traffic. And so as the general plan changes, as you deliver projects into the future, that would also dictate how those projects are defined. So it's based on information that of how communities are planned to grow.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate you coming up.
So, Mayor, I'd also like to add that going south of Pioneer, the sphere of influence and the city limits have been moved back and forth several times. So I think that's something that we need to, I'm not sure how quickly we're going to get into having a new general plan, but there was talk about the southern portion of Pioneer being commercial, industrial rather than residential. And if that be the case, then how we look at building out this corridor will be important as well.
Right. The general plan is very important. Okay, thank you. So from us, you just want to go forward or on each
so
one?
the general direction for tonight was the request to continue that phasing to the east, with segment number 1 coming up being the improvement of the Mercy Springs and Pioneer intersection, and then completing the Pioneer connection to Ward Road, so we actually have something that we can call a bypass of sorts. We can certainly come back at a later date. Let us regroup at a staff level, and we can come back at you with Councilmember Sanders' idea, and we can create a little bit more of a holistic picture of what it could look like. Stacy, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you want to talk about, because our current sphere of influence, Pioneer is pretty far south in the sphere of influence, so there's not going to be, at least in this recent update of the general plan, a lot of growth to the south beyond that. But
I do have a figure I can pull up quickly just for sake of for the discussion. So I think I can expand this. No, sorry. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Joe. So we're talking about Pioneer, which is where my cursor is at, and the boundaries that are shown on Pioneer specifically, and really the whole city. So yes, the general plan does have the current bypass in it. We are working on amending the general plan to remove the bypass so that we are planning adequately for circulation, for transportation and that network within the city without the bypass, so that our future plans are accurate and modeled correctly, as Ed explained. So what that amendment is doing is just moving the bypass. It is then taking the sphere that has a very bypass, because it's following that radius of the bypass, that curve, it'll now follow the parcel lines. So we are working on that. But as it relates to Pioneer specifically, the SOI, the sphere of influence, is about 1/4 mile, and that's an approved sphere of influence that was approved in 2004 by LAFCO. The 2030 general plan did have a just another 1/4 mile further south SOI, but that was never adopted by LAFCO. And currently, based on the adopted general plan that was adopted in 2022, we're proposing still to keep, because that's what was adopted, the current sphere, which is 1/4 mile south of Pioneer Road, with the land uses that are presented in the general plan. Hope that answers that question.
Maybe you can explain what a sphere is.
Yes. Okay. And that's a great question, because there's a couple of boundaries on this map and it can get confusing. So the sphere of influence is basically where the city is identifying that we would potentially grow or we would have influence over, but it's annexed in the next 20-year horizon. That general plan was adopted in 2022, and it has a horizon of 2042. And that's because the state of California requires us to plan in a future horizon. It's typically 20 years. So the sphere of influence is identifying what the future plan of the city, it's really a blueprint for the future of the city, and it's looking out to forward planning, what the land uses, what we think they will be, and what the backbone infrastructure would be, how circulation will work. So that all ties into the sphere of influence. There's a purple, that's the gold line, by the way, this gold line here. There's a purple dashed line, and that's an urban growth boundary. That's a boundary that can be changed by the city council, but this gold line, which is the sphere of influence, can only be changed by technically LAFCO. The city is just a recommending body to LAFCO anytime we want to amend our sphere of influence. So we do not have the authority. Ultimately, LAFCO has the authority to amend our sphere. And our sphere, the only place that it doesn't follow this urban growth boundary is down here at Pioneer, where the council set that urban growth boundary to be at Pioneer Road. And then we have this area that's hatched in green, and that's identified as an area of interest. Now that's because between the conversations when the general plan was first kicking off, between the county and the city and LAFCO, the city was most concerned, and really we were trying to push out our sphere of influence, mostly not necessarily that that would be where development would occur, but it was really to be able to have influence over those areas. We wanted to identify what those land uses would be and really dictate what the future would be. LAFCO countered that and said, hang on, City of Los Banos, your general plan is a 20-year horizon. You need to look realistically based on historical trends. You're not growing that quickly. And based on comments that we also received from nearby water districts and ecological areas, that's where then we said, okay, we need to keep our sphere to a realistic, where realistically in the 20-year horizon, the city will grow. But we'd like an area of interest, and that's because Merced County, we want to be notified anytime development will be occurring out in that hatched green area. So it goes all the way out to Volta, it goes as north as Henry Miller, and it goes as south as Copa de Ora, and it follows then along the city limits. And that's because if the county is proposing development like a cement plant, a rock quarry, or some type of use that impacts the city, we want to be consulted as those developments in those areas. Yes, they could be allowed under county zoning, but that directly impacts our city infrastructure and our circulation. So I'm sorry, that's a very long-winded explanation of what those boundaries are, but that's what the general plan proposes.
Yeah, and just at the last LAFCO meeting, at the municipal review, it passed to leave it alone, you know.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So the municipal service review is the first step in our proposal to expand our sphere as what was adopted in the general plan 2042.
And your point about being noticed by the county, I think that's the most important part, because it's not just a rock quarry or a cement plant. It could be a 7-Eleven on the corner of 165 and Pioneer.
It could be a new city of 35,000 people
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, and we would have no say, so this gives us a say, so
Yeah.
that's important. Okay, so if we could just have a roll call vote and say, yes, you approve on the plan that's gone forward, and staff will bring back with comments dealing with what Councilmember Evan Sanders said. Just give us a yes or no.
Sorry. Perez.
Yes.
Sanders.
Yes.
Chavez.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Amabile.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everybody. Appreciate. Okay, with that, we'll go to item 16. This is notice and announcements of vacancies for the following committees. And Lucy, didn't we just do, these are all coming up at the end of the year, huh?
Yeah, annually, the city clerk has to announce all the upcoming.
Okay, so you have a much better voice than I do, so it's all up to you to announce it.
So the upcoming vacancies on the city commissions are as follows. Airport Advisory Commission, there are 2 vacancies. There are 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2027. Measure H, Citizens Oversight Committee, there will be 2 vacancies. There are 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2027. Measure P, there's going to be 4 vacancies. Three of them are 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2028, and there's 1 unexpired term expiring December 31st, 2027. Parks and Recreation, there are 2 vacancies. There are 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2027. Planning Commission, there's still 1 vacancy. It's the 1 unexpired term in District 1, which will expire December 31st, 2028. And we have applicants for that, and now that Ms. Perez is on the council, we can go forward with that appointment. And then there's Tree Commission, there are 3 vacancies, and there are 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2027. We've been advertising all of the vacancies, and we'll advertise these upcoming vacancies for the new year. We'll do it on the city website, in the city newspaper, and outreach as much as you can to get them filled.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions by the council for that? Okay, so we'll turn to our city department reports, and we'll start with Stacy on the community economic development.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did want to update the council that Tricia Sova, my admin coordinator, and I attended the ICSC at Western conference in Palm Springs this week. This is a retail and economic development conference that is held in California. It gave us the chance to meet directly with brokers, retailers, and developers to showcase Las Banas and our available opportunities. Our goal of the conference was really just to put Las Banas on the map and build connections that will lead to business opportunities for the city. We got various leads that we are working on, and we're really excited about our future. That concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Finance, Minnie, you have a report?
No report tonight.
Thank you. Our fire chief, Fire Chief Dwala, what do you have?
Good evening. Yeah, sorry for the late arrival. We're finishing up our battalion chief testing. This is second phase, so it was a very, very long day today. So hopefully we'll have some candidates to move forward here real shortly so we can get those positions filled. So we appreciate the support on that in the budget. And then I know Dave Anderson came by earlier and talked about our pancake breakfast on the 11th. So we hope to see you there. That's all I have.
Do you have a good turnout for people wanting those positions?
We had 10 total for that.
That's good.
That tested, and then
Good.
we'll see what we wind up with. So
Yeah, it's a good starting point, though. Thanks, Chief. Human Resources, Lucy, anything?
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick update on the HR Department's recruitment activity for the period of July through September of this year. During this quarter, the HR Department completed 20 recruitments across all city departments. In the Police Department, we filled 2 public safety dispatcher positions, 1 police officer, 1 records supervisor, and 3 police officer trainees. In the Public Works Department, we filled 2 utility maintenance 3s, 2 custodian positions, 1 utility maintenance 1, 1 utility maintenance 2, and 1 maintenance worker 1 in the Facilities and Streets Department. In the Community and Economic Development Department, we recruited 1 admin coordinator position and 1 admin clerk 1 position. In the Parks and Rec Department, we filled the rec coordinator position with a 1. In the Finance Department, we recruited and filled a finance manager position. In the Fire Department, we hired a firefighter. And in the Administration Department, we hired an HR technician 1. These recruitments have strengthened staffing across all city departments, allowing us to provide city services more effectively and efficiently. Looking forward, we already have 9 new employees set to start in October and November, with at least 15 more vacant positions still in the recruitment process. If anyone is interested in working for the City of Los Banos, check out our current job opportunities and apply online at governmentjobs.com. And we especially thank the City Council for their support, as a lot of these positions were newly added during the 25-26 fiscal year budget. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. That's very good progress. Police Chief Reyna.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Quick update. 2 of our CSOs just graduated a few weeks ago from the Stanislaus County Core Corrections Academy. So as you know, training is very important to our staff. They are required to attend this. And so 2 of our CSOs, Ryu Pimentel and Abel Rodriguez, both very good employees. They just graduated. I have 4 police officer trainees who are currently attending the Fresno Police Academy. That's good news. I have a 5th that is graduating from the Delta Academy this month, so he will be starting with us, and I will be sure to bring him here to introduce him to you all. Thank you once again for recognizing April Vieira, our crime analyst. Our Spanish Citizen Academy, which is the first one we've ever had, just completed the 4th class, so it's an 8-week course. First one we ever had. We've had a lot of success with the class. So thank you for your support with that as well. And then you will notice that I am wearing pink patches. So it's something that the police department has done before. These are our new patches, but as you can see, they are pink. So in honor of October, we're going to be wearing these. So you will see some staff walking around with these on. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great. That's good news, Chief. Thank you. And Joe, with Parks and Rec and Public Works, do you have anything to report?
Yes, I have quite a few things. So first, I wanted to thank everybody. I know a few of our council members, including yourself, Mayor, and Mayor Pro Tem, as well as Councilmember Chavez, attended our 40th anniversary for 40th annual Salute to Seniors. So really appreciate that, and it turned out really nice. And always it's one of the staff's favorite events every year. So additionally, we're registering for Junior Warriors basketball. I encourage people to register early. That's a program that always maxes out. So we get a lot of participation with our basketball program. We have a blood drive coming up on October 14th at the community center. So if you want to drop by, it's 1 to 6 p.m. We also have our Halloween Fest this month. It's probably my personal favorite event, and that'll be on October 25th, the Saturday before Halloween, over at the Ag Sports Complex. Speaking of the Ag Sports Complex, you can see the playgrounds underway right now with those outfield posts as well being put in the ground. Pickleball is also moving along. If you drive by Shaughnessy, you can see the Shaughnessy Park sign and quite a bit of work out there with that park. So I encourage you to make a special trip through that neighborhood. I wanted to just mention what Blanche mentioned during the public meeting, our public forum. We put in a couple what we call little libraries, there are little stations that you can put books in. We have those at currently 2 parks. We're looking at other locations, but Ranchwood Park at 515 Stonewood Drive, as well as Presidential Park. I think that's 2043 Monte Vista Avenue. Presidential Park and Ranchwood Park. And so these are spaces that people can put books. For example, at Ranchwood, maybe child-related books for the daycare and those users of the park. And again, Presidential Park as well. I know I saw some books already, and I've had some book clubs contact us to help try to take care of those. So it's just a nice, different amenity that we are providing in the parks. On the public works side, I wanted to just kind of touch on a couple items. First being the airport. So tonight you guys approved during the consent agenda a grant submission with the AIP grant through the FAA. That grant provides about $70,000 with about $7,800 match from the city, and that's for design of the overlay of the airport runway. So it's a very important project, so we'll be initiating the design for that, and then next year we'll be trying to construct that, and we'll be pursuing AIP grant funding for that portion of the project as well next year. And so exciting to see that move forward. We also got really good reviews from Caltrans actually inspects our airport as well, and really good reviews, and I want to compliment staff on that for the condition of the airport out there. Another airport item is the new floor at the airport lounge and a few other improvements. So I know it's not a space that everybody goes to, but it's something that hadn't been improved for several decades. So I just wanted to spend some energy on the airport tonight and kind of give an update on that. We're kind of entering fall here, October 1st now. You'll start to see leaf cleanup in early November. Right now, there are leaves falling, but they are mostly getting taken care of by the street sweepers. We have what we call a snorkel truck. It kind of has a little hose attachment that sucks up the leaves, and we'll be using that as well this month, but we'll be starting leaf cleanup, annual leaf cleanup in early November is what we're anticipating. And otherwise, again, I'd just like to thank our staff. We've gone through a number of projects. Tonight we have the treatment plants and the Pioneer updates, and I just really want to thank our staff for, no matter what I throw at them, and I have to be educated on so many of these projects, and so it's very helpful to have each of our divisions, whether it be the treatment plant or engineering or fleet or airport, solid waste, all those groups. So I really appreciate them, as well as, of course, Parks and Rec. So thank you.
Thanks, Joe. And, maybe with the airport, I mentioned to Gary, maybe think about electrical hookup, because I'm hearing that electrical planes there's a pretty big operation out of Chandler Airport in Fresno. Watsonville has one. So it's just something to maybe look at while your few months left at Public Works.
Like an EV type deal.
Yeah, I think it might be something. I was actually on the airport commission way back when we got rid of our attendant at the airport and put the kiosk in. That was a big deal,
upgrade
back in those days, boy. So anyway, it's something to think about.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll go to our city manager's report. Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. First of all, tonight's been a big night, and I want to point out Bill Vaughn specifically, because Bill, after 23 years of sitting at this dais and being at either a council meeting on the first and third Wednesday or a planning commission meeting on the second and fourth Wednesday for the past, I don't know how many years, dozens, 23.
23.
He's been going to meetings every Wednesday night. And he's been our city attorney for 23 years, and he is retiring. And I just want to congratulate him on that. As a young pup myself, I started working with him probably 20 years ago on ordinances or whatever the case was, and Bill always had good guidance. I'm really proud of him, and I'm glad to see that he's going off into the sunset in retirement. And in honor of him tonight, I know many of you have complimented me on my bow tie, but this is my Bill Vaughn starter kit, and I wore that in honor of Bill tonight. So Bill, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's really embarrassing.
Yeah, you got more meetings to go to. We appreciate Bill very much, and you still have more meetings to go, but.
He does. Thank you, staff, for doing that. Just talking about staff, I look at every one of these heads around me at the table here, and all of them are running crazy every single day. And I just want to say thank you to all of the department heads and their middle management team, because they're getting a lot accomplished every day behind the scenes. I want to welcome Mary Lerner, our new city attorney, starting November 17th. We're excited to have you. Congratulations to Councilmember Perez for her victory in the election.
Yeah.
And I meant to be really short tonight, so this is my last thing. For all of our residents out in the De Anza area, we have not forgotten about you. Ed Noriega from Mark Thomas, Joe, me, and a bunch of the people that work for the city of Los Banos are working diligently behind the scenes to get De Anza reopened. I don't have a timeline yet. Funding is always an issue, but I can assure you we continue to work on that project, because it was one of my goals while I sat up here, was to get that road reopened before I left. We got the park done, almost done. De Anza, the intersection itself, because we're dealing with several other entities, primarily Caltrans. There's a process that we have to go through, and there's a planning and the design phase of it. And I wish it was so much easier, because I could probably tell our staff to go out and fix it right now and they could do it, but that's just not how it works. And so, but I just want all of our residents out in the De Anza area to know we haven't forgot about you, and we're coming. I don't know what the timeline is yet, but I can promise you we're working on it. I don't know if Joe's got anything he wants to add, but we're coming on that project. It's just a matter of time. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Gary. And we'll go to our first city council member, Marcus Chavez, District 3.
Come on, Chief. I'm sorry. You know. Well, anyways, happy October to everyone. Fall weather is here, which is fantastic. Had on my list there to thank Mr. Bond, even though I only worked with you a few months, but learned quite a bit in a short amount of time, and still trying to learn more. And, thank you again, and I'm glad we were able to make it happen for you. So I'm pretty proud of that. So awesome. And I also want to welcome Mary as well, and you'll got some big shoes to fill, and, she'll be handing the baton off to you, but, welcome aboard. And I want to also congratulate Councilman Perez again, for the election, and welcome to the city. They're all like this. They get crazy. People say crazy things and make up stuff, and that's just how it rolls. So, just gotta roll with it. Joe, you talked about the 40th Salute to Seniors deal. That was pretty neat. I met some good people there. That was pretty cool. I've never been to one of those. I know Mike said you've been to all those, and I was able to squeeze it in and get in there to check it out. So that was cool. But other than that, that's all I got for now.
Great. Right. Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Deborah Lewis, District 4.
Thank you, Mayor. And I also had the opportunity to attend the Salute to Seniors. It's a really fun event every year, and I was happy to see all of our city departments out there participating. It was a really, really nice event, and I'm sure the seniors enjoyed it. They loved the lunch and all the wonderful gifts that they auction off. It's a raffle, I guess, at the end. So thanks to Joe and your staff for putting this on every year. It's really good for our community. And there's always, when our city manager MCs this and talks about the various communities that are there, even if it's a small community, they're very vocal about their appearance. And so that's really encouraging to see. But Los Banos, they lit the show, so that was a great thing. The only other thing I have, and this is just a briefing because I just received the email from our CEO for Valley Air, and despite our state budget this year, there is going to be money allocated to the Air Board for various things such as our farmers, our community air, which is under SB 617, which is a program for disadvantaged communities that they have to apply for. Alternative to open burning and clean air, clean cars for all. Roughly for air protection under 617, there was $1 million allocated, another $250 million, and clean cars for all, $25 million, which is less than what we've gotten before, but we really appreciate that money coming forward. So I can say that I'm happy to see that money has come in from the state so that we can continue to help our farmers with tractors under the state budget, under the state requirement from moving from combustion into clean air vehicles here in the valley. So that's it for today, Mr. Mayor.
So at your next Air Board meeting, we expect $100 million for Pioneer. If you could
That
get
would be
for us,
nice. That
you
would
can
be
get that for us,
nice.
that'd be great.
We'll be at the annual retreat in 2 weeks. There'll be discussion about budget because that's a really important issue, and about funding as we move forward. And this is a trickle down from the federal government to the state, but they're still doing funding because it's important to the state of California in regards to clean air. And also to let the public know, next week I'll be attending the California League of Cities. So we'll see what they have to offer as far as classes and new information for cities moving forward.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. District 1, Mitzi Perez, you have anything to report, Mitzi?
Nothing to report, but I do want to say thank you to everyone, Mayor, all the council members, staff, and the community. I am really honored to be sworn in today and to be able to serve District 1 in the City Council. I'm really excited to learn from each one of you and work together to keep our city moving forward. So
Great.
thank you, guys.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you too. You'll make a great partnership up here with all of us. Thank you. And District 2, Evan Sanders.
First, welcome, Councilman Perez. It'll be great having your voice up here, and it's awesome to be at full strength again. Tonight we announced some vacancies on city commissions, planning, Parks and Rec. It's a great opportunity for people to get involved. This is where the rubber meets the road, planning for the future of the city. And the commissions have a real impact on issues that end up in front of us here eventually. So I really encourage people to apply to fill out these commissions because they are important. Gary, you had an update on street repairs about budget, that it was just like it's double the budget this year as last year. This is something that I see like crazy online. Like it's the biggest complaint I see on social media is people like, somebody make a post about something and the comments are fix our streets. So I just what was the numbers? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I do. The budget for this year is $4.1 million for streets. There was also an assignment of 2.5 million. 2.5 million for street projects. A great example, is it 2 or 2.5? It was either 2 or 2.5 million. 2? Thank you, Minnie. So about $6 million is dedicated to that. What we're experiencing a little bit of is the design side of the house takes a little bit longer with some of our engineering contracts that we have to complete some of that work. I don't mean to hijack what you're saying, but we will begin some of that repaving process actually on October 3rd for 3 courts, and it's Pulsetto and a couple others, and then the rest will continue to happen throughout the rest of the fiscal year. They usually take a break because of the winter months, and they'll kick back up in spring. Joe's already working on the 2027 fiscal year stuff, so that as soon as that funding comes in and you approve the 26-27 budget, we're ahead of the game and we're paving those roads out as quickly as we can. But there's a commitment of about $2 million more this, well, if you include the assigned funds, $4 million. Last year's budget amount was about 2 million, 2.1, and this year it's 4.1.
Plus the two, so almost 3 times as much for streets this year. So we're paying attention is the point that I was trying to make.
Yeah, sorry.
To what people are complaining about. And then a point I make this all the time, so I'm just going to make it again. The most effective way to bring a concern to the city council's attention is to come here and talk or to send an email to get read into the record. It's great to have discussions online, on Facebook, on social media, but presenting something to council is really how things are going to get done the fastest, because there's just so many voices shouting into the void on social media that it's not the best way to do things. So come to council, talk to us, send an email. Don't hesitate to reach out directly to your district representative, because we're all available and we all have to talk to the residents. And welcome, Ms. Lerner. So.
And I do want to make the correction, it's 2.5 million. And we also now have the budget, the full budget with all its glory on the website for your access. We'll have bounded copies for you, but it's 2.5 million in the assigned funds.
So 6.5 versus 2.1 last year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's real good. 3 times. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to also let the public know that we received a grant from the Air District, which is the board that I sit on for, what is it? Was it 150? Was it 150 or 125?
So 150,000, and you will be seeing that at the October 15th meeting.
Okay. Well, since I've already mentioned it, it will help us improve our chamber. The one meeting that I was absent from, I watched it online, and it looks nothing like our monitors here. The picture's very fuzzy because we have old equipment, and so I'm hoping that this grant that we've received will help us improve our chamber and be visible to the public and help them in being able to participate, even if they're not here in the chambers. Thank you, Mayor.
That's very important,
Yeah.
and we're working on that real hard. That's a great grant. Okay, let's see. So, traffic, I just want to add that with the roads, at one of the MCAG meetings, which MCAG is the body that all the monies for roads come into from the state, and then they distribute that money to the cities and the county. At one of those meetings, the Caltrans rep said they were moving up the paving of 152, and so I asked Gary to look into it so I could get some dates, better dates, and what that was told to him, it was moved back again. So I think there's just a little confusion. So, but hopefully by the end of the year, you'll start seeing paving done through 152, which is not our project, that's Caltrans' project. They're also going to be, I just got a notice at my business that they're taking easements from me, taking all my parking in the front. So I'll see what's going on. They're coming next week. So we all have to deal with, I think they're going to extend the right turning lane that goes north on 165. They're extending that through in front of my business and Les Schwab. I think that's what they're doing. They won't tell me exactly, but I'll find out next week. So anyway, so that is important. And yes, working with some new cameras and new equipment for the city council meetings will let us, because, there's, we can have anywhere between 5 and 40 people here at a meeting, but we want people to watch at home and be able to interact a little bit too. Let's see. The bypass. I want to talk a little bit. I was already said, but, well, I tell you, my first term as mayor, Jerry O'Banion, our supervisor, myself, we worked on the bypass every couple of weeks. We worked on it. We went to Sacramento because I experienced at my business back in, I think it was 89, 90, when they were reconfiguring the traffic at 165, 152. It didn't look anything like it does today. It was only 2 lanes each direction, no turning lanes. And traffic was backing up in front of the businesses. Businesses were closing. And so we started working on the bypass because when traffic backs up on a highway in front of businesses, there's nothing more that can kill a business if you cannot turn into their driveways. That's really the worst thing that could ever happen. And so we worked on it, and unfortunately, it was all in place. And I had talked with the director of Caltrans. We had the plan in place. And unfortunately, I decided not to run for re-election in 2006. And within 2 years, the whole bypass was gone. Now, I'm not saying it's because I wasn't there, but I wasn't a part of it. And we also lost that director of Caltrans at the time. And unfortunately, Caltrans did not want to build a $600, $750 million bypass around Las Banos. But we had designed it. We had 40 meetings with the public to pick the north, to design it, to engineer it, to get the EIR was completed. Everything was completed on it. And then we got the money for the to buy the easements on the property. And then it would just sit there. And once you buy easements, the clock ticks. And once traffic gets to an F level on 152, Caltrans would be forced to build the bypass without any money from our local citizens. Well, that went away. So now we're changing the general plan because it's a done deal. Caltrans says they're not doing it. No one has $700 million. And so, unfortunately, we now have to deal with that. We're changing the general plan so we get rid of that. Not that we don't want it, but we have to get rid of that route and change the general plan. We have to look at another east-west corridor to the north of us. Maybe Henry Miller will be it in the future. We're going to have to look at another north-south corridor to the west of us. We have 165. We're going to have to look at another road that goes up, and we're going to have to just create our own. And this is going to take a lot of years, but we have to look at the future and what we can do. Now that we're a self-help county, when they passed the Measure V for funding for transportation projects, then Caltrans looks at you as a self-help county, so that means you can now contribute Measure V money to Caltrans, and they put you at closer to the top of the list. So hopefully this stuff starts happening. Let's see. I already talked about the September 18th LAFCO meeting I was at that we approved the municipal review. On the 20th, I was honored to be invited to the 150th year anniversary of the United Methodist Church in Las Banos, and that's a long time. And they're at their 3rd location now. The first location was when it was Center Point off Ortigalita. Then they moved to where Wells Fargo is today. Then they moved to where they are now on J Street. And it was a great celebration and mass. And they told a little bit of history. So Henry Miller got very ill, I guess, 150 years ago. And the minister from the United Methodist Church came and helped take care of him. So when he recovered, he gave, I think it was $500 to start building the church. And that was the money. And so it wasn't a year later, even though the Catholics didn't help him at all at that time to get well, they came and asked for $500. So he gave them $500. And that helped build the first Catholic church. And so then everybody started asking for money, then he stopped. But anyway, it was a fun history that they gave. Salute to Seniors was great. Golden Agers now have 588 members, is a record for our Golden Agers. All you have to do is be 50 or over, and I just barely make it, but I'm there, I'm a member. And you sign up at Community Center It's $10 a year. If you sign up now, you get the last few months of the year plus all of 26. So anyway, and I saw at their booth at the Salute to Seniors, there were people signing up right there, so that's pretty good. Also, this last weekend was at the 20th anniversary of Apex Medical Center, and Dr. Demoretti has done an excellent job. He's been a doctor in our city for 45 years, started Apex 20 years ago. He had an open function for all his employees and all their families was there. A lot of people. He has 106 employees work for him. He introduced me to a couple of new doctors that are coming in, one from Stanford. And so he's moving forward. His plan for 5 years is very important for our community. And I wish them all the best, and I appreciate the invitation. And let's see. I think that's all I have. So again, I'd like to welcome Mitzi to the council. It's good to see you up here. And Bill, you'll work with Mary to get the transition over, and you'll be here for a few more meetings, so we're glad you're sticking around. And then this guy, he has one more meeting, I guess, right? So things are going to be changing up here too a little bit. You're stuck with the other 5 of us, though, for a while longer. So anyway, with that, anything else anybody wants to say? Okay, well, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you all. Okay, we're not going to adjourn the meeting. Excuse me, we're going to public closed session. I always seem to miss that. And with that, we're going to public employment, city manager, city attorney, pursuant to government code section 54957B. And if anything comes out of closed session, we'll be coming here in the public and telling the public what's going on. So we'll be back after closed session. Thank you all.
There's a rounding error for the dog.
Okay, thank you, everyone, for staying with us. Under closed session, item 20, public employment, title, city manager, city attorney pursuant to government code 54957B. Only advisement was given, no action will be taken. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.